Thank you, folks. I know it's torture. I didn't eat lunch today, and I hope everybody ate before coming to this movie. I'll remind you, Gonzalez is on 81st Street, and you get 10% off with your movie ticket. Also, if you haven't tried Miznon on 72nd, Miznon North, check that one out as well for some good Middle Eastern cuisine, which is not hard to find in our city, thankfully. Please welcome the director of this beautiful film, Beth Hawk. Beth, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back. And to moderate this conversation, Chef Mika Sharon. Mika, thank you so much.
So I was just telling Beth, this is the second time I saw the movie, and I love it even more. And before at the back, I told her I'm so jealous of all my colleagues and friends in Israel that were part of this festival. Because if I was there when she shot it, I must have been,
100%.
A part of it. So I wanted to know, you're from LA,
Yes.
producer and director, and you just said this is actually the first film you directed, right?
Yes, this I produced, but this is my directorial debut.
And it's an amazing film, so congratulations.
Thank you.
But what made you go into this particular angle, which is really an interesting one?
I would answer that by there were two pieces that made me obsessed: food and positive message. So what happened was I was in Los Angeles and I was in my car in traffic, and I heard Nof on the radio, and she was talking about she had just won MasterChef. She was talking about her mission. Her mission was to just bring Jews and Arabs together over food. And positive message, food, I'm obsessed. So I had to meet her. I reached out to her on Facebook. We were friends in 60 seconds. And over time, she told me about the festival. And I said, no, this is the story we have to tell. So that's how it came about.
So it's amazing. I know Nof, okay, and I don't know how many of you are watching MasterChef Israel. I know some of you can see it here, but she was an amazing, intelligent, bright, and really very talented contestant. And I wanted to ask you, because obviously addressing the subject, immediately you'd feel there's tension, there's a conflict, there is something going on between the nice words and the Alan and sababa, okay? Did you feel any of that in the kitchens, between the people, hierarchy of, who's being the host, who's being the guest chef, all these kind of things?
I mean, I know in traditional film, you want conflict, right? But I'm not going to make it up. And actually, when I made this film, people were always like, where's the conflict? Where's the conflict? Do you need conflict to tell a good story? I didn't need it here, I don't think. And I feel like the people that were attracted to this festival were not, you would participate in this festival. The people that participate in it, I think, want to bridge the gap. They don't want to divide it. And I think the kitchen attracts people that don't want to have conflict, I would say, in general, right? As Nof said, there's no room for politics in the kitchen. So to answer that, I actually did not see conflict.
I'm happy to hear it. Being a chef in Israel for many, many years, working with Palestinians, working with Arab people, I have to say that, sometimes, unfortunately, reality presents you with conflicts, okay? So there's nothing, but when it comes to food, that's a different thing.
Exactly.
And there is an ongoing discussion. Is there Israeli cuisine? And I would like you from California, right? After experiencing, obviously you also, the food looks amazing, right? Aren't you all hungry, like dying to try and dip into lovely hummus? But really, what do you think about the food itself? Does it has any politics whatsoever, the food itself?
So they were trying to trap me into this same thing in Israel. We opened in Haifa a month ago at the Haifa Film Festival, and there was some contention about, it's in the film about the politics of food, and is this Israeli cuisine? Is this Arabic cuisine? There's two sides to a story. Each side is contradicts each other because that's Israel. I mean, I tried to do that in the film. You have the Jews saying both sides. You have the Arabs saying both sides. Docho Safadi, who says this is an Israeli salad. He's Muslim Arab. He's Muslim Arab. So I just found the whole thing hilarious. But for me to give my comment would be absolutely arrogant and obnoxious. I'm not an expert on food, and so no, I'm not going to fall into that trap.
Well, being an Israeli chef, I've been asked hundreds of times, is there an Israeli cuisine? And I would say, Israel is in the Middle East. It's a region. So there is a terroir where we actually, pick our produce, milk our, cows, get our cheese, get our labneh. It's a very regional thing. So, of course, Israeli food, it's food within the region. Then there is the Jewish food, which is something else. Then there is the, traditional Arab food, but Israel being the melting pot that it is, today, so many years later, I don't see a reason to ask, is there is an Israeli cuisine? This is the Israeli cuisine.
There's a great documentary called In Search of Israeli Cuisine, and
Absolutely.
that answers that question.
Right. Absolutely. So I would love to hear if there's any questions. Anybody wants to ask Beth anything about the movie, about the food? Go ahead.
So this was, for me, a wonderful experience.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you did a great job. It was incredible.
Thank you.
I was thinking when you were talking about the lack of tension in the film, for me, the tension was the background. The dissolution of the tension between the Arabs and the Jews through food. And that really was a great accomplishment. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
Oh, I just want to say, they have the conflict, and I think they gave the answer in the film. It's Levant. It covers the countries of that area. So instead of saying it's an Israeli salad, Arabic salad, say
It's the metaphor.
It's a chopped salad. In my menus, it's chopped salad.
Yeah.
Not Israeli, not Arab. And
Yeah.
this is what it is,
The younger people will understand that, and then the extremists on both sides will.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Thank you. Well, I want to say that I had a lot of trouble figuring out who was Israeli, who was Palestinian,
That was
who
on
was
purpose.
Arabic.
Yep. That's the truth, because as I've been saying, you strip away the politics, you strip away the religion, and people are people, and you can't tell the difference. I felt you could, there are many times you could see Tomer comes on and he talks about how he's Moroccan. I'm sure at first everybody thinks he's the Arab, it's.
Yeah. And you mentioned another film also about finding Israeli cuisine. I just wondered, did that film come out before yours or after?
I was already working on my film when that film came out, but just like editing.
I think it's on Netflix, isn't it? The Search for Israeli Cuisine. Yeah, you can watch it on Netflix. It's a nice movie.
Thank you. It was a wonderful film, and it reminded us of how interesting Israeli food has become. However, I worked on a kibbutz years ago, and I can tell you that there's two very different kinds of food ingredients in Israel. And the Arab food is generally traditionally grown, but the kibbutz food is very technologically advanced, which also means it's lost some flavor, and it tends to be part of the debate on whether advances is good for food. That was not in the movie, but I'd like to hear your thoughts about that.
I'm going to let her answer that.
Okay, I understand exactly what you're talking about. There is a conception that, Arabs still grow their food, what we call baladi. Baladi means that it's growing organically, okay? It's true in several places, but unfortunately, the whole world is moving forward. Israel is known for its very state of the art, innovative agriculture. I don't think necessarily we lose in flavor. I think it depends. I don't know. Kibbutzes usually have poor food in their dining room. That's a statement which I understand. I've been in kibbutzes many times. But I think that the evolution of the Israeli cuisine, especially today, I'm one of the older generation of Roni and Chaim Cohen and all these guys, but the younger generations, especially the people that you saw here, really seeking, and they've mentioned it so many times, to find their identity through the food, their flavors, their heritage, combine all of this together into something very authentic. All of you that go out to eat food, you seek the authenticity of the flavors. You want to feel that you're eating something that is, handmade from somebody who's carrying it with him for generations. And I think in Israel today, more than ever, you can see it coming through. And it's definitely a collaboration between Palestinian cuisine and the Israeli. So if you go today to a kibbutz, you might feel a little different. That's for sure. Yes, please.
Thank you. I was most moved by the photography of the hands of the cookers spreading on the oil or the honey on the kanafe or the seasoning, or it was so like it made the movie in a way to see the hand working the food. I know I didn't ask a question yet, but it's a compliment with more. It deals with the classical music and the traditional music. I think those three elements were elevated the movie to join the ranks of the Israeli cuisine movies on a high level.
That is such a compliment. I take that as such a compliment. The music for me was a challenge, and I worked as I really was on top of the music the way I was on top of the film. I had I'm going to say I had the most wonderful director of photography, Ofer Ben Yehuda, and he specializes in food. Wow, so lucky. And I mean, it wasn't an accident, but I'm just saying, but he was great. And then it took me a long time to find the right person to do the music. And the man who did the music was a man named Omar El-Deeb, who's an Egyptian Muslim. We had many conversations. We taught each other a lot. And it was his idea to bring in, but we worked on this really carefully. He decided to bring in the oud all the way through, which gave it the Arabic character. And I brought in a friend of mine in Germany to do the violin, and we did it over the phone via WhatsApp. She would send me little clips, and I'd send her notes. It was crazy how it came together. I don't know, but it's a real compliment about the music, so thank you.
And also the photography was amazing.
Photography, obviously, yes.
Another question up here.
Actually, you just answered my question, which I was just about to ask about all those elements. So this is just a comment, which is thank you for the tip to the vegan chef, because I absolutely loved all the fruits and vegetables and real food that was in the film. So thank you. It was a beautiful film.
Efrat Enza, yes. Do you know her? She's amazing, yes.
Oh, yeah.
They're all amazing.
Hila Alper. Both of them are not chefs. They're, food writers, but they're amazing.
They're amazing.
And where can the film, if we want to show it to friends, where is it being released, or how can other people?
I am just starting, and I am in talks with one distributor. I hope it will be a good thing for us to do, so we're working on it. But I'm certain we'll do the Jewish and Israeli festival circuit, and it will make its way, and it will land up streaming. But I hope we might get a limited theatrical, so we're waiting to see. Yeah.
Again, a comment, not a question. One of the things about this film is the food looked great, and therefore I couldn't choose an Israeli or a Moroccan. We all love this food. Where can I get that? Where can I get that? Where can I get that? So thank you for making me not bipartisan.
It seemed like a lot more of the lead chefs were men. And I'm just wondering how that reflects the number of female chefs and the way they're treated in this region.
So again, I can't comment on a global comment about the female chefs in the region, but there were some female chefs in the film, in the festival. For me, it was really more a question of I had a limited crew. I had a limited amount of days. When I found the people, when you find Shlomi, I mean, come on, Shlomi goes in the movie, right? I mean, when you find Ali, and these people are mirror images, God gave you a movie. So and plus Nof is the protagonist and she's female. I had Hila and I had Efrat, but so, sure, I would have loved to have had another pair, but it's not that I purposely did it. It's just that I never even got as far as I could get. I just had to do what
Even if you look really hard, in most of the Arab cuisines, you're not going to find a lot of women. In the more modern Israeli restaurants in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, you will find not as much as men, of course, but in the Arab cuisines, it's mostly male dominant. Yeah.
Don't you love that? Everybody
In the
talks
history,
about grandma.
only women would cook, right? In history. But nowadays,
Except Shlomi had grandfather, but still, the influence.
I want to thank you both so much for
Thank
this
you, Isaac.
wonderful film, wonderful conversation. Thank you all for being here. Go get some food.